thanks everybody for coming. It's always a great time on Friday when we get a chance to honor our heroes. Friday's Heroes, which is, as you know, our Albuquerque Police Department, Albuquerque Fire Department. Every once in a while, a civilian or two that we honor for doing something great and above and beyond the call of duty for the city of Albuquerque. And we have another great story today. We have another great story for an Employee of the Week as well from our Environmental Health Department. So we'll talk about that also in just a minute. So this morning, I'd like to welcome everybody, including Chief Banks, to be with us as we honor our Friday's hero, who is APD Detective Rosemary Gallegos. Her husband Louis is here with her and her family, so we always like to have the family visit with us and celebrate their hero and their family as well. What we're talking about today is the annual Cops for Kids event. Where almost 100 children are given the opportunity that they probably wouldn't get, in fact they wouldn't get if it wasn't for the great work of officers in the Albuquerque Police Department, and in particularly Rosemary and some of the work that she does. We're almost halfway through, it's a half-year birthday is what it says here. Detective Gallegos is already gearing up for this annual event that happens a lot of time, during the holidays. Every December, here's the way that Cops for Kids events work. Every December, kids get a special ride along with local law enforcement officers where they're treated to a fresh meal. They get a $100 gift certificate. They go shopping for new clothes and toys and whatever else that they may need. And they finish up their day getting a chance to play games at the location. And APD Detective Rosemary Gallegos, with the help of the Title I Homelessness Project, have made many Albuquerque's of our kids' dreams come true. And she's the reason that so many of the kids have been able to have a great holiday season. I'm going to tell you a really interesting story here in just a minute. So today, along with Chief Banks, I would like to recognize APD Detective Rosemary Gallegos for spearheading hope and a positive influence for Albuquerque's underprivileged youth. Detective Gallegos has countless stories, as you can imagine, but she visits about 100 children in their homes each year, interviews them and their families, and then pairs each of the children up with an APD officer. And many of these children, as you can imagine, don't even have the basic needs, the basic human needs like toothbrushes or shoes. Detective Gallegos told us about one family that really made an impact on her, and they did me also when I read the story. They were living out of their car. It was a single mother who was doing her best to take care of her son and her daughter. She brought them to school every day, ensuring that they did their homework, but since they were living out of their car, on too many occasions she actually had to bathe the kids in the restrooms of fast food restaurants throughout the city. So with some gentle encouragement, Detective Gallegos convinced the mother to let her children participate in Cops for Kids. So when Christmas rolled around, the family was blessed with resources from Detective Gallegos and the officer that rode along with the family. They had their hotel stay paid for, so they weren't homeless for Christmas. They had a Christmas tree delivered. And in addition to the shopping spree, the officer and his wife bought them additional gifts on top of the $100 gift certificate. So this single mother and her kids are now in a home of their own, so that's great news. This just goes to show how simple gestures, I think, and sometimes some encouragement, some leadership from individuals in our community can really make a difference in someone else's lives. So I'd like to have Chief Banks come up and tell us a little bit more about Detective Gallegos and her compassion and care for Albuquerque's youth, and then we have an award for her as well. So Chief Banks.
Thank you, Mayor. Detective Gallegos would be the first to stand up here and tell you she doesn't like the limelight. She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. She does this because to her it's a calling, it's a blessing for her. Just to see the smiles on these children's faces who in fact probably would not have a good Christmas or Christmas at all if it wasn't for the hard work of Detective Gallegos. I get an opportunity to participate in Cops for Kids each and every year, and I know the amount of work that she puts in to this effort to make sure that these families get the chance to enjoy this special time of year that the rest of us do. It takes a full year, and for her and her staff to go out and get donations so that the city doesn't have to incur a lot of cost is tremendous. I want to thank her for her work, thank her family for allowing her to sacrifice and to be out there day in and day out to make sure that others in our community receive that blessing. I want to thank them, thank her, and appreciate the hard work. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So what we do for Friday's Heroes is we have this coin that we had commissioned specifically for this, and it has the Albuquerque Police Department logo, Emergency Management, and the Albuquerque Fire Department logo on it. And it's just our way of saying thank you so much. And you know, great cities are made up of people that do great things. And so many times people think it has to be something that's, you know, it involves hundreds of thousands of people at one time. It doesn't. One family at a time, one caring at a time, one kid at a time. And APD is always out there doing great work. And we just want to thank you for spearheading this for this great department. And we appreciate you very much for all
Thank
you're
you
doing.
so much.
And thanks to your family too. Great company, TLC. So anyway,
Thank
thanks so
you.
much. Mary Lou, you want to bring your Hal and Caitlin up? How are you? Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
This is Hal,
Caitlin, how are you?
Caitlin.
Nice to see you.
And you know Mark.
Mark, how you doing? Good to see you. Come on up on the other side if you want to get. So today, our employees of the week, we have two employees of the week, both from the Department of Environmental Health. Harold, he goes by Hal. Hal Senke and Caitlin Greenberg are with us today. And we're going to honor them for helping educate the community on an outbreak of norovirus that we had over the past couple of months, which, as you know, can be very serious. And the most common cause, actually, of severe foodborne illness is the virus called the norovirus. It affects millions of Americans each year. And a particularly potent strain of the norovirus was on the rise this winter. You may remember it from the news accounts. And also, that outbreak actually reached all the way into the spring season, and we had several significant outbreaks occurring in New Mexico. Knowing that education obviously is the best tool for prevention, these two employees from the Environmental Health Department, Hal and Caitlin, went above and beyond the call of duty to prevent the spread of the virus. What they did is they contacted local organizations where the virus could thrive and affect many, which I would assume would be nursing homes and assisted living facilities and places where folks are. In fact, that's what I remember hearing one of the stories about. So they got a hold of the organizations and they started coordinating a symposium to educate all that had the potential of being affected, not just the residents, but also the staff and the leadership of these organizations. So the symposium went beyond the routine ways of educating the public to make sure that more people could get the information and create a healthier community. So Hal and Caitlin worked tirelessly to create the symposium. They promoted the symposium. They got people to come and actually arm them with the information that they needed to make sure that we could stop many of the outbreaks. And I'm convinced that the work that you did actually mitigated a lot of the concerns we had in our community and actually stopped some of the spread of the norovirus, because I know we had this discussion in my office. It was a particularly nasty strain, and it was kind of getting ahead of everybody there for a while. So anyway, huge success. Thanks for what you do. The Environmental Health Department does great things, and if you're watching this and you're not familiar with all the work that they do, I'll have Mary Lou Leonard, who's our director here, hit on it for just a minute. But it's a very encompassing department. You'd think it'd be just one thing here or there, but they actually do lots of things. So Mary Lou, why don't you come up and talk about these two great employees to start with, Hal and Caitlin, but then give us a little bit of an education, short one,
Okay.
on what you do. So
Thanks,
sorry
Mayor.
about the podium.
That's okay. I think I'm going to step beside the
Yeah.
podium because it's a little bit over me. Mayor Barry always talks about how it's our job to help people do their job better rather than be a regulator. And really, environmental health does have a little bit of regulation behind it, but we really do focus on trying to be, a partner with the community and help them learn how to do their job better. And I think Hal and Caitlin just epitomize that, because they watch trends, they see where there could be some public health risk to the community, and then they identify how can we best get in there and assist the businesses or the public on how they can avoid the risk the best. And so Caitlin and Hal, just in a few minor comments, basically they educated these nursing facilities and these assisted care facilities on using bleach. That's the best way to confront norovirus. Washing your hands and maybe using paper plates out of your kitchen so plates that might be infected don't come back into the kitchen. Little things like that go a long way in just really helping our community stay healthy. And so Caitlin and Hal just really jumped in and really identified the best way to treat this issue, and they did a great job at it. And then just succinctly, some of the other things Albuquerque Environmental Health Department does, we inspect food facilities to make sure that Albuquerque's food supply and the restaurants that serve the community are healthy, and we have a great partnership with the restaurant community. We have great restaurants, and so we really feel like we have a great partnership there. We also oversee Albuquerque's air quality, and some of you may have noticed that we called a few air quality alerts in the not too distant past, and so that's our folks monitoring the air quality and then identifying that there are some of the vulnerable populations, such as elderly with COPD, may be at risk, so we call health alerts like that. We also monitor old landfills, and then Dr. Demena here oversees some of the areas like plague and tularemia and West Nile virus. So we have our hand in a couple of different areas, like Mayor Berry says, and we really appreciate the ability to honor some of our great employees. We think they're all great, but Caitlin and Hal really did jump in and really got to had a great opportunity to serve the public, and we're really grateful to them. Thank you.
Right, thanks, Mary Lou. We talk with our directors a lot, and Mary Lou is one of them. And I asked them as a mayor, Environmental Health Department has a task to keep people safe. But we always say, keep people safe, but also help them succeed. So whether it's a restaurant that they find a violation, don't just give them the violation, help them fix the problem, help them learn so that they can succeed in your absence. And this is a perfect example of that. You're keeping people safe, but you're also giving them the tools that they need to succeed, whether it's an assisted care center, whatever it happens to be, so that they can continue the work after the regulator, if you will, leaves. They can succeed with themselves and their clients. So what we have for each of you, and this is yours, Caitlin, we have a Employee of the Week mug, and then we have an Employee of the Week certification for you, and also a letter for your personnel file. So let me get Hal's here as well. And we just really appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's good work, and you're good at it. So thank you very much for all that you're doing, and thanks again for APD for all that you're doing.